Today I want to talk to you about root cause mapping. And what I want you to know about root cause mapping is that it is not unique to psychological assessment of any kind. You've actually experienced root cause mapping in your day-to-day life. Let me give you some examples. Have you ever worn a tyre too much on one side and you go and take it to the tyre and auto place or the tyre place, and they walk around, they look at all your tyres and look at how you're wearing the tyres? Let's call that a symptom. And they do what they would call, probably not, a root cause analysis, which is to determine what is causing that symptom of the tyre wearing on one side more than the others. And they recommend to you that you need a wheel alignment. And that's really what's going to help the root cause to adjust the way that the tyre is spinning so that it wears more evenly. Let me give you another example. For those of you that spend a lot of time around computers and IT people, when your computer starts mucking around and it starts doing crazy stuff and you call IT, what is the first thing that they tell you to do? Have you turned it off and turned it on again? And even if you say yes, they often tell you have to do it again. Turn it off and turn it on again. I'll wait on the phone. And the reason for that is because after a long process of multiple times of doing a root cause analysis or root cause mapping in the IT industry, it's been determined that a lot of those problems are going to resolve from turning it off and turning it on again. In my time in the ambulance service, I realise now I was also doing root cause analysis or root cause mapping. What I mean by that is we would often be presented with a patient with an array of symptoms. For example, sweating, pale skin, complaining of chest pain, maybe pain down the left arm. Now, sure, I could get a towel and mop their brow and address their sweating. I could give them some stock standard pain relief, like morphine, for example, but that wouldn't be addressing the root cause, which in most cases, if you call an ambulance and there's sweating and pale skin and chest pain, it's possibly some sort of heart attack situation, all right? Like a big, serious heart situation. Not always, I don't want to panic anybody. But as paramedics, we would do a root cause analysis or root cause mapping to determine what do we look at from their symptoms, what do we take from that, and what do we think, given our experience and our training, is the root cause, and we would address the root cause, knowing that once we did that and we relieved the stress on the heart with the right medications and oxygen and everything else that we do for a heart attack, then the sweating and the pain would resolve. Similarly, in my work now, in helping people overcome trauma, anxiety, depression, perhaps PTSD, difficult experiences in the past, challenges they may have had, incidents that they have gone through, and help them move past that, I do the same thing. And to be honest, I quite like it, which I guess is why I have been doing it for over 4 years. People come to me with a range of symptoms. They say, I'm not sleeping, I'm snapping at my family, I'm angry all the time, perhaps symptoms specific to their root cause. I had a client a few years ago who was actually a passenger in a really significant car crash. And she was a passenger in a vehicle that somebody else accidentally drove off the side of a mountain, would you believe? Not surprisingly, it took her a little while to be able to get back into a car, but she did because she's an incredibly strong woman. And she had worked through it with her psychologist and her psychiatrist, and she got to a point where she was able to get back in a car. We were working together for some weeks, and then one day she came in for our session and she looked quite different. And I asked her what was wrong. And she said, a couple of days prior to our appointment, she'd been driving with her partner and he had gone through a pothole. They'd hit a pothole. And in that moment of boom, hitting the pothole, all of her car-related anxieties came back to her. And what that indicated to me, as somebody that was helping her through this was another symptom that let me know that we hadn't addressed the root causes, or all of them. We got through some. And so I needed to reflect on that. And what does that tell us? What does that symptom tell us about the root causes that are still within that we need to work on? And oftentimes it is something along the lines of safety. We had done symptom management. She was on medication. She was working with a psychologist and a psychiatrist and myself, which we found very beneficial for her to have what we call a treatment team. Once we addressed the root cause of safety and we reinstilled that feeling deep in your gut, you can't see my gut, but deep in your gut, that feeling of safety, I'm okay, then she could go over potholes or speed humps or whatever else and deal with it, because she had that internal state of safety, because that was the root cause that the symptoms were letting us know about. In the next video, I want to talk to you about root cause mapping in terms of trauma and root cause analysis. So stay tuned.